How's it going, everybody? It has been a while since the last stream. I hope everybody's fine, doing good. Uh, when when was the last stream? Last stream I think was before. The last stream was in 2020, so it's been like officially 4 years now at this point. Um, but if you are a returning watcher, thank you, welcome back. If you are new to the streams, my name is Josh Durham. I am a concept artist, art director that I've been in the industry for officially now 11 years. And I am here to tell you not how to do everything, because I don't know how to do everything, but I can tell you what I know how to do, which is to design. And normally what we do is... hello, Shorty Man 247. Welcome to the stream. So normally what we do is we here at Matte Paint, we make these streams where I show you how I design and how I create everything. But it's normally, because there's a lot of pressure to get everything done within a stream, I'm kind of like speed running the process of how to paint, how to design, what I'm thinking about, what I'm approaching the problem with. So I wanted to do another batch of streams that will focus more on the entire process. So instead of it just being me just making a piece of art and everybody watching, it would be more of a step-by-step process of how I approach everything from the beginning, just from scratch. Normally, if you're a concept artist or matte painter or something of the like, you end up getting approached with a brief, a description of what you need to do, what needs to be done, and then you have some kind of direction to go. But with the art directors, or as an art director, you generally start from scratch, unless you're hired on a project that's already in process for a while. But most of the time, you do kind of just start from zero. Hey everybody, Samuel Angeliki, I think, and Matthew Knox. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. So I just wanted to start from scratch. I wanted to also involve you guys. So the point of this is we're going to do 6-week stream. All right. So for the starting today, 5 more Saturdays after today, will be the entire process. This stream is focused more on what I call the R&D part of my process, where let's say a creative director needed something, or a pitch was given to me, or in this particular scenario, I'm going to create the pitch myself, and we're going to work on it together. So I have been thinking about it for a while, and I'll get to the actual pitch soon. But for this stream, it's going to be chill. No pressure on anybody. Everybody kind of just relax, put on some jams, whatever your music is that you like, and just follow along in the research part, because to me, research is fun. I really like the research part. I have tons of photo references just from years of researching different projects. So the next stream after this will be focused more on the actual key art piece, creating the piece. Now that we've done the research after that point, or after this point, we will know what we're doing. But I have an idea that I'm going to get to in a minute. So as we do each stream, they're going to be different processes, right? So the second one is going to be the key art. The third one is going to be focused more on the prop design of the key art. So something from the key art, we're going to do like an actual prop design sheet of it. And then the stream after that, we're going to do a second key art that's focused more on like world building of the characters that we've introduced in the first one. And we want all of these pieces to be a cohesive vision. Hey, Diogo, how's it going? We want all these pieces to be a cohesive vision, so that way, whenever we create this art Bible and we have a pitch essentially ready, we can show people, or we can confront the creative director, or whatever we're doing, right? And that way it's all cohesive and it's all just one thing. Then the final stream, or the stream after that, would be us polishing everything. Any kind of feedback or revisions that we figured out along the way. Instead of doing it all at once, we'll just do it at the end and kind of just polish and just chat and chill in that stream. And then the last stream will be you guys. So I wanted the final 6th stream to be like a community version of this. So as we're going along with these, I kind of have to speed run. You know what I mean? Because these streams, we're gonna go from 1 to 4 p.m. EST, each one of them, give or take. You know, so it'll be somewhere around 3 hours per stream. So I kind of have to speed run the painting process and everything that I do when we actually get to the painting, but you guys don't have to. So I'm going to come up with what I can during that time, but you guys will have an entire week in between each stream to make whatever you want to make. So by the time we get to the 6th week, so say a month and a half, you guys will have your own pitches, your own project designs that you've come up with, and I'd love to see them. Even if you're not finished with them. Hey, Sarah and Meg and Tiskar. I'm awful with names. I apologize. Welcome to the stream. I'm excited you guys are here. So yeah, I wanted all of you guys to get involved as well. Of course, there's no pressure, but it's fun. So as we're progressing through these streams, feel free to post your progress on Discord and just the community and everything. And I'll definitely be checking them out. I'm sure Conrad and the other guys will be checking them out. And by the end of the streams, we'll pick out some of our favorites and we'll talk about them. And we'll just, or I'll talk about them. I think it'll just be me. I'll be talking about them, and we'll be going over like what could have been done better, or actually what you guys did great. Because in this line of work, there's always accidents that you come across that are better than you thought. So that is kind of the point, right? I wanted to show how I come across accidents, because that's just part of the fun. If we knew how it was going to end up by the time we started, we probably wouldn't start to begin with. So let's go ahead and get started with the first stream. Now, for the first stream, the introduction to this idea that I've been thinking of was I wanted, most of the work that I've done is sci-fi or fantasy, right? But on matte paint streams, most of my work has been cyberpunk, which I absolutely love cyberpunk. That's not a question. But I did want to do something different. So anybody that knows me knows I'm a big fan of like Eastern Asian style works, Japanese, Chinese, the whole theme, mythologies, lore, all of it. So I wanted to create something that's kind of in that vein. It doesn't have to be exactly Japanese or Chinese, just something with that feeling, you know? Whenever I start a project from scratch, the first thing to establish is the feeling. What is the feeling that you're trying to invoke to people that watch it, play it, listen to it, whatever? And the feeling that I wanted to make was kind of this kind of Eastern Asian mystical feeling, but I wanted to also mix in like a modern twist to it, similar to let's say like an Overwatch Kiriko. She's a great character. Here, I'll pull it up. She is stylized, of course, but Kiriko, if I could spell it correctly, it would be great. There we go, Kiriko. So she is a great stylized character, giving this kind of modern, what do you call it? Like a modern street feeling, like an urban feeling of Japan, mixed with this like Shinto priestess fashion design that she's got going on. Super cool. I really like her character. But there's also Kana and the Bridge of Spirits. Yeah, Kana and the Bridge of Spirits, which had this similar vibe, where not modern, of course, but it had this this kind of East Asian mystical feeling to it, but it wasn't exactly Japanese and it wasn't exactly Chinese or Thai or anything like that. It was like its own world, its own twist. So I wanted to do something like that, where we kind of pick and choose aspects from these other cultures and just kind of make our own little world. Now, for the research, all right, what we're going to have to do is we need to come up with a couple of things. So this is I use like a template essentially of an art Bible that I created. I have changed it a bit to match what we need here, but in general, this art Bible document is just a document that kind of has some visual elements of what you're trying to achieve and some text following the pictures, kind of explaining what you're trying to achieve instead of it just being pictures. So you can make a mood board, which is like a collection of images that will tell people like, hey, this is the feeling, this is like what I want everything to look like. But it doesn't tell people like any of the character stories or the narrative or anything like that. The art Bible is more of a direct explanation with visual examples as well. So for this, first thing we need to figure out is, or first thing I want to figure out at least, is the narrative. So the narrative is, let's say that font is massive. Let's reduce that. Let's do like a little bit less, not underlined as well. Let's do a narrative. Okay. So the narrative would be something related to this East Asian vibe. And the two characters I had in mind was, let's say like a modern, modern young adult woman meets a mystical fox spirit. Okay, that was the idea I wanted. That's like the most I've thought about the narrative. I want this character to live in a modern city. All right, so she lives in a modern city resembling dense China or Tokyo, or Japanese city. So, yeah. So I want her to be in this kind of modern city with this this kind of life, this urban, dense, populated life. But then she goes out into the Ian, what's up, man? It's been a while. So she goes out into this temple or hiking out into the like a graveyard, mystical graveyard kind of vibe, kind of like Mulan. Yeah, I don't know a better way to explain it than that. It's like Mulan, the Disney animated one, not the live action one of I guess Ghosts would be the best way. Yeah. So kind of like this vibe of that part of the movie where she goes to this family gravestone and it has all of these carvings and everything of the family names, and then the spirits are kind of coming out of the grave. I like this idea of the spirits glowing, like this kind of a bluish, greenish kind of glow to them. Really cool idea. I think that would look great with almost like a fall forest. So like orange leaves, auburn leaves, stuff like that. So we're going to include that into our narrative because it's just going to be like a little note for us. So she meets the spirit in a what do you call it? Like a graveyard, I guess. Yeah, a graveyard, a forested graveyard in the fall. Yeah. All right. So now we're creating a feeling. We're giving off this vibe just from a few sentences of like a direction for us to go in. So first, we're going to start with some of the design elements that we need to kind of nail down. So color harmonies and lighting. All right. I like lighting a lot. Lighting is one of my favorite things to play with, and color harmonies as well. That's why cyberpunk is really fun for me, because it's just a lot of color and a lot of different neon lights, so you can play with reflections and shadows and stuff. In this scenario, though, I want it to be less dramatic and more fantastical. So we're going to focus more on, of course, vibrant colors, but we're going to focus more on a mystical feeling with the shadows. So less dark, moody, dramatic shadows, and more like softer shadows with um, some nice shadow scuro or whatever, however you say it. It's like it's the it's the shadow within the shadow. Yeah, so stuff like that. Just like a soft shadow. We're gonna play with that. So let's find some examples. Okay, so this is all internal. All right, we are working internally. This is our version of the style. Yeah, exactly, Samuel. Ori and the Wisps, Ori and the Blind Forest, same thing. It's kind of like Eastern Asian without it being actually Eastern Asian. So, which I still haven't played those games, by the way. I really need to. They're on. I have Ori and the Blind Forest downloaded. I just haven't been able to play it. I've been too focused on 100%ing Metal Gear Solid games, so so I have a problem with Metal Gear Solids. But for the color harmonies and the lighting, we need to find some visual examples. This is all internal, so we don't have to worry about. We're not selling this pitch at the moment, right? So we don't have to worry about any kind of issues with like copyright on the images because we're just using them as like a placeholder to give ourselves an example of what the images need to be, and then we're going to replace them later with our own images that we create on the project. So these are simply just for references for us, just for us to kind of nail down like a general vibe. So for the color harmonies and lighting, I did not mean to open YouTube. There we go. We are going to look up some examples. So let's start with Ori. Ori and the Blind Forest. Yeah. This is good. This is kind of like glowy softness to it is what I'm looking for sure. We can go with something a bit more orange is what I'm looking for mostly. Honestly, this example is pretty nice. So let's just grab this for now. Let's just copy the image and paste that bad boy. Let's just Control V because I never can understand the paste options. All right. I really wish this explained text wrapping better. Like there's no like this just is awful visual representation of what these do. But we're just going to not worry about it at the moment and just leave it. What is happening? It's all going wrong. All right, Control V. And then we're just going to reduce this a bit just so we can have that there. All right, so now let's find some more, shall we? Let's go with Kana and the Bridge of Spirits. I just pulled that up. That's a great one. This one, though, is a bit desaturated, I think. The green is not as vibrant as I would like it to be. It is, I mean, it stands out a lot compared to the rest of the environment, which was like the point of the game because you're cleaning these corrupted areas that go from red to green. But compared to, say, like Ori and the Blind Forest or something like that, this green is a bit desaturated. I do, however, like the character design of this this kind of simple outfit. So I think we'll focus on that when we get to the actual character design part. But for the glowiness, I like this kind of ethereal blue that's coming off of the staff here. So we're gonna grab that and we're just gonna throw it in there because that's just pretty cool. And we're just going to add it to the list. Now, we're also going to venture off into... let me just grab Kiriko because I keep thinking of her from Overwatch. Let's just grab her real quick. Let's go with this one because this one has her fox spirit, which is a great example of this like glowy blue fox spirit that I was thinking of. So we're just gonna grab that one. It's fine. This is just a reference. Actually, this is better. All right. This is just a reference. It is totally fine to grab whatever you want to grab. So we're just going to do that. And then we're just going to shrink that bad boy because it's taking up too much space. There we go. Okay, so now we have a couple of examples of just the general color harmonies we like. You know, we got this red and white with the blue. We got this glowing blue with some green background, and then we got this orange and blue. Let's get some real life examples of like fall. I don't know. Let's go to Unsplash. I like Unsplash. They're cool. It's a little royalty free place. Let's go with fall trees and see what comes up. So yeah, something like this. This is nice. This is like this kind of like auburn leaves, but it's not fully orange yet. Those are nice. Ooh, and this is a good one with a little walkway. This is cool too. I like that. Okay, those are locked behind a paywall, so we won't use those. But we can grab some of these. I like this. All right, this is a good example as well. Unsplash used to be so nice because everything was royalty free, and then they started throwing things behind paywalls. So we have to be particular here in what we grab. This is nice. This kind of like green with the reddish orange. That's nice. All right, so we're going to download that. Just go ahead and grab that one. And then we're going to Diana Lisanova. Great shot. So then we're going to add that to our document. Just drag and drop. There we go. Where'd that go? There it is. All right. So we have some examples of the vibe we're going for, but now we need examples of the locations, and we also need to figure out what the locations are. So let's think about the forest that she's going to meet the fox in. All right. Let's say that they met there for the first time. So I was picturing like a Shinto temple that's like up on a mountain, that's leading up to a forested like graveyard or shrines and stuff like that. So yeah, location number one would be the graveyard. Let's just call it a graveyard. Graveyard. And then location number two would be where she lives. So the city, the city that we don't have a name for at the moment. So we're just going to leave it at the city. So the visual examples for the graveyard. I have some from Matte Paint that I found. If you go to the Matte Paint website and go down to the Overgrown Cemetery, this pack right here had a bunch of really cool shots for this kind of vibe that I was going for, which was like an ancient forested area with stone. You know, of course this is more European because it's from the Czech Republic, but we can definitely add our own Asian flair to it for sure. So we are going to. I use Microsoft Word. Ian, thanks for asking that. I actually meant to mention that. I use Microsoft Word. I know a lot of people use like InDesign or different softwares and stuff like that. But I use Microsoft Word as a base, like as a way to just quickly rough out an art Bible or a document or something like that. Because Word is definitely not advanced. It is very good for just like quickly roughing out ideas and laying out the general flow of the document. And then we can take it into InDesign and actually make it look pretty, make the font and everything fit better, or go into a different document or like a different software and customize it that way. So I just use Word as like a let's just do this for now kind of thing because it's just faster that way. InDesign is very precise, and I'm not a fan of starting out very precise when you don't exactly have a full idea yet. So it's just, I don't know, it's quicker for me. But there's not like a right or wrong way to do it, I think. It's just what I do. So Matte Paint pack with the graveyard here is really cool. Of course, this is a European one. We're going to have to add our own Asian flair to it, which is fine. Um, so I will go ahead and add some of the images I found from there. If I go to my references here. Normally I'd be listening to music, but because of copyright problems, I can't listen to music on stream. So I'm having to make my own music in my head. So, for example, on the graveyard feeling, I do like something like this one. This one's pretty cool. Oh, careful. All right, this one's pretty cool. We can grab that in there. It's got this like overgrown vibe, but then you can kind of see the city in the background to give us a feeling that it is still mixed into like a modern society. And then I also found this reference earlier because I tried. Normally when I do the research thing, this research process, I usually start from scratch on the day of the brief because I didn't know anything until they told me, right? But I knew about this stream coming up, so I kind of been thinking about it for a minute, and I did find a couple of images that were cool. Just something to add some of the coolness to it. And I like this idea of, this is also from Unsplash. I like this idea of this this gate. I think it's like a toady gate. I think that's what they're called. And it's a cool idea because I think it'll go great with the key art piece because composition wise, it would be really cool if, let's say the shot was like here or so, and we have this big ol' fox spirit taking up about this third of the image, and his head is right here, looking down like this, you know, but looking the other direction, looking to the left. And then have our main character about this big right here looking, and they're looking at each other. So his head will be towards the center and she'll be in the center, but then his body will be reaching out towards the third right over here. And I think that would look cool, especially composition wise. The only issue with this shot is that the forest is too bright and the trees are too bland, you know, too boring for this idea. So what we'll do is whenever we get to that point on the next stream, we'll go ahead and just grab this gate and then pretty much just get rid of everything else. And we'll just use this gate as a way to kind of frame the characters in the shot. I think that'd be cool. I was also thinking diagonal composition instead of just a straight on center one like this. So we have the characters be centered, but instead of having the fox kind of just come off to the right like this, we could have a bit of like a staircase going up, and then the fox is kind of like coming down the staircase with the character in the bottom left or the middle left, and then have a staircase going down the bottom left. So that way we have this kind of dramatic, well, not dramatic, it's kind of like a dynamic composition where it's diagonally across the image, but then they're centered right in the middle. I think that would be sick, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, no, absolutely. The shot is definitely too green. That is why we're just going to take the gate and then dirty it up, because this gate's also really clean. I don't know if people come and clean it, because they don't clean these over here on the left, these lantern, but the gate is like super clean. So we need to dirty that up as well, because it'd be cooler. So we got that idea. I also found some images. Where did I put them? I have everything in folders, but then I forget which folder I put them in. Okay, I also have this graveyard forest from Japan, shots from Japan, and I really like this idea of dense, like Japanese graveyards are really dense, so I really like this kind of feeling. I'm trying to find an image here. I have to do it off screen so you guys don't see any secrets. But there is plenty of shots in here, like this one. I like this idea of these graves being just really tight together, but with this overgrown grass on top of them and the moss that's growing on them. That's really cool. So I'm trying to find a good shot out of here to represent that. This is cool. I think that's the one. What is that? 2039? 2039 is this one. All right, we're going to drag that in there because that's cool. And that's neat. And this is our project. So we don't have to approve it we don't have to get approval from anybody. This is us making something really cool that we just want to make with the freedom of making it and not worrying about anything else. Now, normally, the reason why I said not worrying about anything else is because normally, if you're making a project from scratch like this, you have the creative director telling you what the project is already, and then you have to figure it out. But in this moment, we are the creative director, so we don't have to worry about that. Also, there's limitations normally. If you're making, let's say this project is for a film, then the limitations would be closer to somewhere around like, of course, budget is always a limitation depending on the project that you're working on. Even if it's your own project, you now have to worry about your own budget. But if it's a film, you really are only restricted by the budget and the deadline. And let's say like the talent that they choose. But then if you have a game that you're designing or some kind of interactive media like that, then your restrictions are different. Their design is pretty much the same, but your Ian, you can approve things. Just you can't approve this because this is mine. So whenever you're doing a game or an interactive media like that, the the restrictions would be closer to the technical restrictions. So you, of course, have the budget and the deadline, but you also have the technical restrictions of, let's say, the gameplay. So this dense graveyard, for example, if I made this really dense graveyard, but didn't put any kind of like walkway through it or any kind of pathing through it, there'd be a very difficult time for the level designers or gameplay designers to figure out how to play through that area, you know, because you'd just be too dense for characters to move around in or people to interact with. So if you're working on like a game or something like that, you do have to you do have to think about the problem of actually being able to play it. So some games, game concept art generally has like more flat platforms involved, so people can jump on them and move around, or ladders, so that way it looks like you can interact with the environment and climb up and down to verticality. Whereas film designs generally will have ladders or platforms as like just part of the environment character, not like as part of anything that characters are actually going to interact with. So in general, that's like the main two differences. Now, when it comes to environments in general, what I just said is important. I said, not because I said it, but because it is. Environment character, all right? So even though we're working on environments, and in this project we're talking about some character design, we won't focus too heavily on their designs individually, but we will need to know them as we implement them into the shots. Environment designs are very close to character designs as far as like how to think about them. So you have character designs and you're like, the fashion design, the character's background, the character's current like story arc and what they're going through and everything like that. But the environment design is not just a backdrop. The environment design is its own character. So you have the environment that should complement the character. They should complement each other in a way that they work together. If you look at, say what you want about Frozen. Frozen 2 was phenomenal. Frozen 2, especially the art direction on it, was gorgeous. It had this kind of like fall feeling to it, mixed with the bluer tones of Elsa's outfits and everything like that. Again, this is really stylized, so this is not for our project. This is just an example of what I'm talking about. You can see that the environment itself is giving a story without you even knowing what's going on. And then at the same time, the characters still fit in the environment because the environment was designed around the characters and the characters were designed around the environment. So they really work together. Environment should never just be like an afterthought or a backdrop to your main characters. It should always be treated as like a second character, or even the first character, however you approach it. I generally approach environment design first and then character second. But either way, they should be treated as working together, and also they both should be treated with the same amount of design. If you don't, then you run into problems where characters just don't fit in their world, kind of like in Brink, which everybody knows Brink. So in this game, the environment design I think was phenomenal, but the character design was really wonky. They went like this really kind of over stylized, exaggerated shapes, design, and everything on the characters. If I could find an example that's not 4 pixels wide, that would be phenomenal. Yeah, sure. Something like these, yeah. So you get these like really stylized facial features, and overall stylized character designs, but then the world itself was like this really dense, like in parkour environment like this, and it just, I don't know, there was like this disconnect between these really stylized characters with this like really dirty, nice, or like nicely like designed environment. Now the environment needed to be designed really nice because this was a parkour shooter, so you could run on the walls and everything like that, so the environment had to be like really cool for people to want to interact with it. But I think the characters kind of fell short, and I think that's a good example of like characters not matching the same design as the environment, and also back, you know, the other way, vice versa. Yeah, so back to our project. We want the graveyard to match, or not to match, but to like complement our characters. So I was thinking, if there's a little bit of red in the graveyard, and then we have the character have a little bit of red on her, it's cliche to use red to make your character stand out, but it works, especially with the environment being so green and then some orange mixed in. So I think that would work really well, especially because the second character is this giant glowing blue spirit fox, Kitsune. So I think it would be really cool to kind of complement each other, which is why Kiriko I think works, because Kiriko, if you look at her, is exactly what I was talking about. I'm going to bring her back up because that's what we're doing today. We're talking about Kiriko and nothing else. So if you look at her, she is red and white, which is classic Japanese Shinto colors. You can look at Inuyasha and stuff like that, and they have the same thing. But then her spirit fox is blue, right? And I think this combination works really well together. They went with a less saturated red. It's a bit more pastel, and the same thing with the blue on the fox. I personally really like saturated colors, so we'll probably not do that. We'll probably make it more crazy saturated. But like Inuyasha is another great example of this kind of red on the character. So of course Inuyasha's red, but then Kagome, if I can find an example, Kagome has green, which goes well with red. Okay, think about Christmas. But then she has a little bit of red on her because she is still a main character. So that way, whenever there's a scene that has, let's say, like a bunch of people on it, I don't know, like this one, then you know the two main characters are Inuyasha and then Kagome herself, and then the rest of them are main characters. But you know that because of the just without knowing anything about the show, you just know that these two are the main characters because they have a little bit of red on them, and your eyes just immediately go to red. I think the theory is that humans were meant to see red easier because of blood, so you can like recognize if you've been hurt. I'm glad we're abusing that for art, but yeah. So that's the focus I'm thinking of. So back to our project, we have the graveyard. We have a couple of real life examples, but we need to throw in some like artistic examples because we need to know whenever we pitch this. We need to have examples of like they're called comparables. They use them in pitch decks all the time. If you look at Stranger Things pitch deck, it's a great example where they used this document and they used images from other films that they were working on, or that they wanted Stranger Things season 1 to feel like. So they used like shots from Steven Spielberg movies because they wanted it to feel like a Steven Spielberg. So the example of that in our project is that even though we're working on something that could be a film or game, I'm leaning towards film just to give us more of a cinematic feeling. It could be a game as well, but then I just don't want it to be. So this is our project, all right? Like, this is my project. Y'all are making y'all's project. We can do whatever we want. This is freedom. This is freedom time. We can do whatever we want to do. So I'm going to make it a film. And the problem with that is that we don't have, right now in our pitch document, we don't have any like film comparables of like what this would look like, or even game comparables. You can use game comparables when you're working on film because cinematics and stuff like that give off the similar vibe. So what we're going to do right now is we're just going to go on ArtStation, okay? And we're just going to find some cool stuff. Again, I want to give full credit to the people that we look at here. But again, this is totally just for examples for us. This is not like, we're not claiming any of these images. We're not trying to sell any of these images. And this is just us trying to find examples of what we're thinking about and use it as a pitch document for us only to know like where we're going. And then we replace the images later with our own images. I probably won't have time to replace all the images because of the fact that I have to do 6 streams. But yeah, that's what we're going to work on. So let's just have fun, and let's just go through ArtStation and look at some cool stuff. Like a 2000 Tokyo or 2020. I'm thinking probably like that's a great question. I mean, we could do like Overwatch, where again I'm going back to Kiriko, where Overwatch has like this futuristic vibe. We could kind of push forward a bit past 2020 and make the city a bit more futuristic, but like not. I don't want it to be like crazy. The year 5000. I don't want it to be like Logan's Run. All right, we're just gonna have some kind of thing. Oh, absolutely, Sarah. Absolutely. Yes, that's such a great example. Spider-Verse was phenomenal. Really big fan of Spider-Gwen as a character in general, but her world design is phenomenal. So if we do not age, that's weird. Let's go to like just his art style of her world, like this. So her world has like this vertical. See if we can find it. It's got like this vertical. Yeah. Well, that's no. Where is it? It's like this like an up and down brushstroke feel to it, which is really cool. This kind of has it, but they took it sideways. It's like a fan art thing. Here we go. So you can see this like up and down vertical brushstroke feel to it, which is really cool. Huge fan of that. I really like that. But yeah, that scene you're talking about in general, the fall scene. The fall scene into the Spider-Verse. Well, they of course would talk about the fall, like the classic shot of the whole thing. But yeah, like something like this vibe is cool. It's just snowy. We probably, well, I don't know. Snow might be all right. We could, because it is autumn, so it would be cold enough for snow. I don't know. That's a great question. That could be one of those accident things where we may throw the snow in there. All right, we'll grab that as an idea, but we'll see how that turns out later. All right, so let's throw that in there. Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, great game. That's actually the that's actually the piece I used for the thumbnail in this video of this stream, because I did This one. I wanted this kind of vibe again. This kind of like orange fall vibe. I did this when Tsushima came out. I just realized I spelled it wrong, and I am ashamed of myself. But yeah, something like this kind of vibe I think would be really cool. This is a bit more desaturated because I was focusing towards Tsushima was designed towards like the classic samurai movies, so that it was a bit more desaturated, less vibrancy. This one I would like to be more vibrant, kind of like this scene would be. I think that's really cool. So this is also really cool color harmony. I forgot who it was. I know Zach worked on Spider-Verse. I forgot his last name. Zach did the subway scene, I know for sure, on like the storyboards and stuff like that, but I'm not sure if he did. This is Zach Kretz, I think. Zach Kretz. Nope, not that Zach. So anyways, yeah, so Spider-Verse, I really like the fall shot. That's a great idea. We'll definitely keep that in mind. Now for ArtStation though, we need to find, I just typed in Japanese just to see what would come up. ArtStation is just full of so much different things. Zach Retz, there you go. Yeah, Zach Retz. So Zach Retz, yeah. So Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, so he did all of the like thumbnail and or not all of it. I'm sure there was more than just him, but he did a bunch of the storyboarding and stuff like that. It was really cool art. I follow him on LinkedIn. His stuff is legit. It's this like a rendering style where it's very messy. Everything's kind of like loose. Really big fan of that. That's such a cool feeling to it like that. So that's rendering style. That's what I like to do, is keep everything kind of messy. So that we're gonna keep that. We're gonna do that because this is our project. So let's go back to this ArtStation search. I did find this piece the other day. I like this fashion design. Okay, the snowy temple is cool. It's a bit desaturated, but I really like this kind of Shinto priestess design they got going on with this cat girl here in Kyoto. That's really cool. We're not going to make a cat girl. I don't think it would be fitting, but I do like this general fashion design, especially with the color, the red, like I was talking about, popping out on the main character like that. So we're just gonna copy that. Thank you, Yu Hong Ding. Definitely go check them out on ArtStation. They have some really cool stuff. We are going to steal some of that. Just borrow it, I think is a better word. So we're going to just put that into our project as an example of the character vibe of the fashion design. Thank you, Yu Hong. We are just gonna check out all your stuff because your stuff is cool. So we are going back to our search. I like this a lot from Dominic Mayer. It's just a really cool vibe. This glowing flower idea is leaning towards what I want the spirit to feel like. It's glowing in the darkness. But this general neon aspect to it is really cool. It just doesn't fit our style very much. What we're trying to accomplish, at least. And then something like this is cool. It is like a forested shrine, which is the vibe we're going for, but it's very desaturated. So we want this feeling, we want this, but we just want it to be more colorful and vibrant. Kind of like this. This is definitely more colorful and vibrant, but from Voyager, it looks like. But this is very more illustrated. This is more of a book cover kind of thing. Oh, this one's a lo-fi cover, so makes sense. We want something in between, and see, that's the problem when it comes to, or not the problem, the challenge when it comes to creating your own project is that, generally speaking, there's not going to be a perfect reference you can find online because you're doing something that is different. Of course, when it comes to designing in general, nothing is ever completely different. Even when they designed the wheel, it's because they saw a rock roll. You know what I mean? Like it's the idea of you copying the environment of what you see and just making it your own is like the whole purpose of design. Everything's a remix. So we're kind of just remixing what we've seen in past projects of games that we've played, movies we watched, but we're making it our own. And the challenge with that is that we're not going to find exactly what we're making because we're the one making it. So we're just kind of looking around, seeing some things we like, some things we don't like, and it'll help us narrow down our project. A lot of this stuff, because I typed in Japanese and ArtStation, is going to be very like cyberpunky or super futuristic and modern. I like this vibe a lot. Again, the main character's wearing red, and then the secondary main character is got red on them as well. He's super grumpy. So that again is what I'm thinking of. Not red on the fox, but red on the main character for sure. And then use the fox being blue as a contrast to the environment. So we're gonna grab this idea just for our own memory of the scene where they're meeting in the graveyard. So let's grab some of those. And thank you, Tyler Edlin. I believe I follow this guy, and yeah, no, I don't follow him. I think of a different one, but he worked on Kana or fan art for Kana. I don't remember. I've definitely seen this guy's stuff before. Really cool stuff. So let's go back to our search. We've got a couple of pieces for the graveyard. Here's another good one. That's a great just feeling. Of course, this is very dark from Erica, but we need like one more like really good example of what we want the graveyard to feel like. This is a good example of the front view. So I was thinking of a side view looking from, so if you can see on here, we're looking straight at the staircase. I was thinking imagine if we rotate to the side and we're looking sideways down the platform there with the staircase going up on one side, staircase going down on the other. That's what I'm thinking would be a cool shot. But we need one more like good example of the graveyard feeling that we're looking for. So we're just gonna, normally in the past streams, I would just do all this looking for stuff ahead of time, but I figured, we're just chilling today. We're showing the whole process. We're just gonna show as I skim through a bunch of different art, and then if I don't find anything, it's okay. I'll just go cry in a corner for about an hour, and then I'll be over it. Let's go with. Oh, this is nice. This is a nice one. Yeah, that's actually a great one. Yeah. So, thank you, Keen Art. We're gonna grab that as an example of the graveyard. So, we have a couple examples of the graveyard feeling, and we're just gonna chuck that there. All right. So, now if somebody just had no idea anything that we told, like we didn't tell anybody anything, and we're just like, here's my project, and I gave them this document. We would come up and just give them this, and now all of a sudden they've already got a feeling of some of the project, right? We haven't even mentioned anything about it, and they're starting to get a vibe of where we're going. So that's the point of a pitch deck art Bible, even though there's two different things, but that's the point for both. The art Bible also should have rules in it. A great example of rules would be something like in The Simpsons. So in The Simpsons, Bart Simpson has the spiky hair, right? So Bart Simpson, he has this like spiky head. I think was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so he has 9 spikes on the top of his head. In general, in animation, they had to draw him in different angles and different shots and whatnot. So in the art Bible for Bart Simpson, I think it's 9. It may be 11 is the max. There's actually in the document explaining that when drawing Bart Simpson for the show, he cannot have any more than I think 9 like this or 11 spikes on his head. That has nothing to do with the show. That is just completely part of the art Bible design, and it is a way to keep all the different animators and the different artists that are working on the project understanding like this is exactly where the project needs to go, and this is exactly where the limit is the limit of spikes. You know what I mean? So that kind of idea. We're gonna make our own rules. We haven't got to that point. Honestly, with this stream project, I don't know if we will even make rules. We are kind of we're just vibing out here. We're just making our own thing. So I'm not sure the rules would even matter, because the rules are for like if a team of artists is working on it or something like that. But we are the team. Like we're the whole art department. So we know the rules. We're making them. So let's go to the city. Let's start with the next one. So the city. Let's think of like a modern Japan. Let's go with Japan first, and then we'll bring in some Chinese. Modern Japan. Wow, that is so bright. A friggin' Akihabara. It's crazy. So modern Japan, we want the city to feel like this. We want it to feel nice, vibrant. Something like this is actually really nice at Shibuya. Can you see the dog in this picture? Can you see him down here? No? Okay. There's a in case you didn't know, there's a famous dog statue over here in Shibuya of a dog that waited for its owner every day at the train station, which I think that episode of Futurama that's extremely depressing was based off of. So yeah, thanks for approving. So we're going to take this image of Japan and we're going to throw it into the city. And we're just going to use that for now as like a general vibe of what the city is. I keep saying the word vibe, but honestly, I can't think of a better word. Maybe feeling, example, but vibe just fits perfectly. So that's the city. We're going to space these out just for my own sake of reading it. Yeah, so let's keep going. All right, so the city, we have Shibuya, all right, which is a very populated area of Japan. But I was thinking the main character would not live in the most popular part of the city. She'd probably live off like in a off street somewhere. So if we could find like not a back alley, but like a Japanese back street maybe. Something like this I think would be cool. Some kind of like off street. That's cool. You know what? I like that idea with this vine growing on the house itself, because then it would attach her. Yeah, Hachi, a dog's tail. Yeah, that's the dog from Shibuya. But you know what? I like this idea. I wasn't planning on that idea where the house is covered in vines like this, but honestly, I like this because it does that thing I was talking about where the environment attaches to the character as well. So she would live in this area, but then the fox lives in a forest. So then like they're kind of visually attached to nature without anything being like drastically noticeable. So I like that idea. I think we should do that, and we're gonna do it because I say so. So let's put that in there, and then let's run with that for a bit. Let's find some building. I don't know how would I search for that? Building with vine on it. Asian building with vine growing on it. There we go. Yeah, this is cool. It does remind me a bit, of this this Chinese tower. I forgot where it's at, but they wanted to implement grass and trees into the actual architecture, which is really cool. A little bit too modern, I think. with what we're going for, or a little too, what's the word I'm thinking of? Too like utopian for what we're going for. We want to get something a bit more relatable. Um, what do we look for though? What do you think? What would be a good way to search this? Because if I type in vines growing in a house, we're just gonna get a lot of European stuff because that's like a whole thing. Maybe ancient, not ancient. Maybe like old Japanese building. Maybe. See what comes up. Oh well, of course it's gonna be the temples. Old Japanese house, maybe. Okay, and he's still ancient, not just old, but ancient. I do like this a lot. This is nice. So this is like auburn leaves with the grass, which is exactly what we were thinking of. So I'm gonna grab that and just throw that into the graveyard feeling because that's sick. So we're gonna grab that. Do 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 do. There we go. All right, so we could do something like, yeah, Japanese Utopia maybe. Japanese Utopia. See what that comes up with. That's a cool example for the graveyard, but it's too much orange, I think, since we'll have orange leaves. Don't want to be that crazy. Yeah, solar punk I think is too much. We could borrow from San Fran Tokyo, which was from Big Hero 6. They had this kind of San Fran Tokyo mix of San Francisco and Tokyo as part of the fake city that they made. And it just looks great. Like this kind of feeling is nice. It's pushed for almost futuristic, but it's still kind of relatable in a way. So I think this is a good idea. I think San Fran Tokyo is a good example. We're gonna grab something from there though. But what do we want? That's just a trolley. We want something that gives more of the vibe for anybody that sees this document. Okay, yeah, we'll just grab the first one. We don't need to spend too much time on this. Let's grab. That one's not bad, but let's grab the first one we saw, which was this one. This one's cool. Apparently, it's for Disney California, but it's cool. So we're gonna copy it. We're gonna grab that in there. Now there was another one that did a good city example, which was was it Red Panda? Was the name of the movie? Red Panda movie. Is it called Red Panda? Turning Red. All right. Turning Red movie. Had like this nice city vibe to it. I didn't watch it, but just from like seeing stills and everything from it. This by the way is super nice. This is like this is very Sailor Moonish, and I'm a huge fan of Sailor Moon. So I'm really a big fan of that like pastel lighting like that. It just doesn't fit our project very much. So we're just gonna move on from that, and we're not gonna. No. Okay, we're not gonna use any of that. So we have. Let's look at our project and see where we're at. It's always good to have like a progress check, right? It's been 1 hour. It's getting hot and toasty in here because our computer's been running. So let's just see where we're at. We're an hour in. We have the color harmonies established, just some things that we like. We have the graveyard pretty much represented. This fall idea is great with the snow. We're gonna leave that as an example for later. And then the city, we have 3 shots that work pretty well. I think we probably don't need any more with the city at the moment. We could probably just leave that for now because we're just going off the general feeling example. So Green White Federal Building, Portland. Let's see what does that look like. Green Wyatt Federal Building, Portland. Let's see what you got, Ian. Let's see what you got going on here. This is cool. What is this? It's like a curtain of vines. That's cool. Yeah, this is cool, but it's very like corporate. It's not like somebody's house. So probably not, but I do like the city feeling that it's giving of like the city living with nature, kind of like Shanghai has some areas like that. Which I guess, you know what? Let's just there's also another pack from Matte Paint that we can use. So if you go to image packs and then if I can find it, China, go to China. So the Chinese pack has a mix of like these old Chinese areas, but then also the city. So yeah, the vines on the building are great for sure. Thanks for the heads up there. Yeah, so we have the Chinese city. Let's use the Chinese pack from Matte Paint, because that's what we're all about here. Is images. That's what we do. So China, open up the pack. Let's find a good example for the city. Now, I didn't like this shot a lot. I was going through this pack earlier. This shot is cool with the underpass. I'm a big fan of like living. I probably wouldn't want to live under an underpass, but like as far as like character design goes, I like the idea of them living in a neighborhood under an underpass because it gives this immediate feeling of I'm gonna take my jacket off. It is hot. It was cold when I put it on, and then it stopped raining, and computer's been in overdrive. All right. So right. Let's continue. Okay, so the underpass immediately gives this vibe of like a social disconnect because they are living under the society. Even though they're not actually living under the society, just like in Chicago where you have the trains going above the street, but it gives that feeling immediately of them being like not in a rich family, because rich families normally don't live under the underpass. They live like up on the high towers. So let's use this image as just an example of the city. Let's go ahead and pull that out. Let's put that bad boy right there. Okay. Shrink it down so it's not taking up so much space. Come on. Yep. There you go. Okay. Cool. So now we have the city. Let's get like one more for the city. Let's just go through this China pack on Matte Paint real quick. Just a couple of images here. Oh yeah. Yeah. You noticed my my headset obsession. Yeah, so I have exactly what you said. I have the PC headset for work. I have the middle headset for like music production, and then I have the right headset for listening to music because it's like a cleaner sound. And it's got crazy noise suppression. I have a headset for everything. I don't like anything in my ears, so they're always over ears. I could talk about headphones for a while. We're not going to do that. We're going to continue back to what we're supposed to be talking about. I do like this with the the air conditioning kind of hanging out the windows here. This is a cool vibe. So we're going to grab that and we're just going to throw that in there. This kind of gives me this air conditioning thing reminds me of what was the Love, Death, and Robots. Oh man, I always forget the name of the episode. The Love, Death, and Robots episode with the girl running away. Love, Death, and Robots. Girl running. I probably don't want to look that up because she was not fully dressed in that episode, and I don't want to put that on stream. Whatever that episode was, that one, it reminds me of that kind of like apartment complex that she was living in. Let's continue with less risky images. um, we've got we gotta get one more city shot in here. One more that like just gives a vibe of the city. And I think this does a good job. This one's pretty good. This is just like the same underpass, I think, but from the side. I think that's pretty solid. Maybe this one. Nah, that one's too corporate. This one's cool because it gives the city verticality. Like you can feel the city is tall. We're gonna maybe this one. Yeah, that one's cool because that one feels more like a regular neighborhood. This one's more like an establishing shot. So we're gonna take this regular neighborhood shot. And we're gonna throw that in there. Okay, so we've got that, and now we've got some real life examples of the city. So let's get some artistic examples of the city. Besides that one Disney shot, let's go to ArtStation again, and let's look up Asian city, maybe. Yes, The Witness. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that. Now I can sleep at night, remembering the name of the episode. I always forget it. Yeah, great episode. Gorgeous art direction as well. Highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. So, let's just type in Asian city and let's see what comes up. It's probably going to be a lot of cyberpunky futuristic stuff because that's just kind of the vibe people get from Asia in general. Especially East Asian. This is kind of a cool idea with this Asian. What is it called? I forgot what it's called. The like the swooshes on the end of the roof, the kind of hooks that go up. Those are cool. Thank you, Stas. We will probably keep that in mind, but we need something that's closer to our word of the day, the vibe. We need something that's closer to what we're vibing with. Nope, none of these. All right, so we're gonna type in fantasy city and see what comes up. Of course, this is gonna be more medieval, but I am open to the idea of finding fantasy that's like more down to earth, you know, because sometimes fantasy could mean high fantasy, but then sometimes it could mean like this, where it's just like a normal, somewhat city, but some fantasy things are happening in it. I like, you know what? I like this idea of not a house, but an apartment. So what if she lived, the main character, what if she lived in an apartment like that high up with this like dense city that she can kind of lean out the balcony and look around, kind of like in The Fifth Element, but not that futuristic. That's a cool idea. I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be interesting, because then we get both elements, right? We get the instead of having just her living on the ground floor under the underpass, so she feels poor, with the high rises above her. What if she lived in a high rise apartment like this that's also poor? So then whenever she goes out of the apartment, you now have the both shots. You now have the shot of like this crazy dense high rise neighborhood that's unorganized like this. Plus, you have her walking in the streets with the view of the high rise from below. You get both instead of just the bottom. That's cool. We're gonna go with that. I'm gonna grab that. That's coming. Thank you, Liam Young. Highly recommend you for everything that you've done for us. I highly appreciate this work. This is solid work. This is really cool stuff. So we are going to use that example for sure. Let's shrink it a bit though. And do you like that? Oh, that's probably too small. It doesn't need to be, I don't know why it's centered. Yeah, it'd be right. Close enough. So window garden for green. Oh yeah. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. We could have this like dirty city scene and then have maybe again to attach her to the forest, we could have her growing like her own little garden on the window. Oh, in the garden. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. And the flower pot. Okay. All right. The flower pot could have um like a flower or a plant coming out of it, growing out of it that's found in the forest by the shrines, and that's why she goes there to grab them, and then like she plants them in her place to keep the place green. Okay. Okay. All right. We're getting a story. We're getting a narrative. Okay, so let me write that down. Let me write that. Everybody, stop panicking. We need to write this down. uh, okay, so she goes. She visits the crowded shrine graveyard to find plants for her window garden, and maybe she has a family there. Maybe like a family member died, and she visits them, and possibly because then she would light the shrines. Like she would actually go over and light the candles, which I think would be a cool part of the story. All right, so and she possibly, let's say possibly, visits dead relative there. Right? Okay, so there we go. So we have a narrative on why she's there, possibly, and then a connection from her living environment, which is this crazy. No, stop it, cancel. All right, which is this crazy city environment, and then and then she connects to yeah, relatives is fine, and then she connects to the forest that way. That's a cool idea. Okay, all right, I think we're gonna go for that. We're gonna do that. So we now have, let's do a little progress check. We now have a narrative that we started with 0 on. We now have color harmonies that we can agree on. We like the way they work together. And then we have the location of the graveyard kind of established of what it feels like. And then we have the city established as to what it feels like. This is uncentered, which is really bothering me. And I'm trying to act like it's not, but it actually is. But we're just going to leave it because we got better things to worry about at the moment. So characters, let's go to the characters. Let's just move forward from the locations to the characters. It has been 1 hour and 20 minutes. So if you haven't stood up, taken a break, walk around, do whatever you want, I'm going to stand up for like a second just because we work in a sedentary lifestyle and we need to do what we can to get up sometimes. I actually have a solution for that, where I have a vinyl record collection here. Just while we're taking a break here, we're about halfway through the stream. I think we can take a 5-minute break and just kind of relax for a minute. I actually have this vinyl record collection of like Nier. The Nier soundtrack is phenomenal. I'm a big fan of game soundtracks in general and film soundtracks. Super great to listen to while you're working. And the best part, I guess because I mentioned Sailor Moon, I should show you one of my favorite vinyl records. So the best part about vinyl records, though, is that of course they're a bit pricey, but it makes you get up. Okay, so here's the Sailor Moon record. I had it imported from Japan. It's freaking super cool. Big fan. Double record, so it's got an English and Japanese. So sick, so cool. Anyways, so what's cool about I'm talking louder because I'm behind the mic and I'm not sure if it'll work. So I'm kind of just talking at a distance here, so forgive me. So uh, what's cool about vinyl records is that they they only have like 20, let's say 20 to 30 minutes per side of the vinyl record, uh, depending on the album, of course. And then after that time, you have to um, you have to flip it. You know, you have to flip the vinyl record. So it makes you get up every 30 minutes, essentially. Before, I used to listen to music while I would work, and I was just live. This was years ago. I would use like Pandora, which I don't think anybody uses anymore. I think my friend does. But like Pandora or Spotify or YouTube Music, or even at one point I was really into like a lo-fi hip hop stream. They're great. They all sound great. It's just you forget what time it is. Like you work like 4 or 5 hours without moving, and then all of a sudden you go to stand up and you're like, oh god, my back. So you have to balance out how much you're moving. And vinyl records are great because they stop. You know, like the vinyl just stops because it's done on that side. So you have to get up, you have to flip it, and you have to put it back down. So it mentally makes you step away from the computer, which means whenever you come back, you can see the image without being tunnel visioned into it. And you might see some things you made a mistake on or some things you didn't think about. But it also makes you physically get up and move around, which means that you may now trigger your body into being like, hey, we have to go to the bathroom because you're now moving. Or hey, you need to drink of water because you're now not focused, you know? Oh, the guitar. So that is a 6-string. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see it. So that is a 6-string headless guitar from ALP. They're a Chinese brand, and it's actually, I don't know if you can hear it. It's actually, I don't know if you can hear that on the mic, but it's actually metal. Like the whole body is metal, which is really cool. And it's got 2 single pickups and a humbucker. Sick. It's really sick. I suck at it. Like I'm a percussionist at heart, dabble in the piano, and I was like, you know what? The piano and the guitar are pretty much the same. It's just guitar's vertical, piano sideways. So I was like, maybe that'll work. No, I am terrible at it, and I was just like, I gotta really get to it. So I kept it on the wall because it's easier to take off and on to actually like make myself work on it instead of having to take it out of its bag. It also folds up. The armrest and the lap support go into the guitar, and then they fold around the back. It's really cool, but I've maybe played on it less than like 10 hours. You know, I'm really terrible at the guitar. Put me on drums any day. All right, so it has now been, I don't know, 5 minutes, right? They usually say you should walk about 15 minutes. I'm just trying to not waste everybody's time on the stream talking about my vinyl collection and my general lifestyle. So we're going to get back to the stream. We're going now to approach the character design. So the characters, we have a little bit of the fashion design here with the cat girl. We need to find some other fashion design that we like. First, we're going to focus on the main character. What should her name be? I haven't thought of a name. So if you guys have a suggestion for like the main character's name, the girl, I was thinking like she's like, I don't know, early 20s age. So something that's not like child name, you know, something that gives off like an early 20s feeling. It doesn't have to be Japanese. We can make whatever name we want. Let me know if you got a name. While I try to find some Japanese or Asian fashion in general that we like. So let's see. Asian fashion. It's gonna show modern fashion. We don't really want super modern fashion at the moment. We're looking for like traditional. Let's Let's go back to Google. Let's do Asian traditional clothing, maybe? Maybe that'll work. Yeah, so this is more Chinese, but I like it. It's kind of priestess, I almost said it again. Almost said vibe again. Korean, I think, is also a good one. This is nice. It's just too pastel, I think. And this is cool, but it's very what's the word I'm thinking of? This is very Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon kind of feeling to it, which our vibes, we want it to be a bit more modernized. So how do we? So that means we're gonna have to grab like ancient fashion, something like this, or maybe like a Shinto priestess. Let's see, Shinto priestess clothing. Right. So this is the Inuyasha vibe. I said it again. I'm sorry. It's just I needed help. All right. So this is the Shinto priestess one. It's very simple, very very basic color design. It's just white with red underneath, but I think it works. So if we can find a way to modernize that, how do we modernize that? Okay, let's do this. This is good. This would be a good one. So let's grab that. Let's grab that idea. Let's do one of these. One of them that stands out as being something that we want to save. One of these somewhere. Please. It's like there's not like a good full shot of the person. Now, these are okay. Well, maybe. What is it? Inari Okami. Oh, okay. I didn't know. Yeah, okay. I didn't know their name. I knew Inari, but that's from fiction. I didn't know it was from like the actual Kitsune. Okay, cool. It's good to know. Very good to know indeed. All right, so we'll leave that for now whenever we get to the actual fox design. But the Shinto priest, we need to find something that's like a good shot of this red and white outfit. Because what we're going to do is we're going to combine them with a modern fashion. But first we need an example that's not just from the side or from behind. Can we have... that'll work, I guess, but I'd rather have it like on somebody, because then we can see the actual flow of the fabric instead of it just being like on a mannequin. That'll work. That's fine. All right, so there we go. We'll grab this, okay, and then we'll throw that in there. I don't know why I made the Netflix sound. All right, and now we're gonna grab some modern Japanese, I guess Asian in general, Asian fashion. Let's see what we get. We're gonna get a lot of dark colors because modern in general is darker style, because we're just all dark on the inside. Okay, I want to go with Japanese because I do know Japanese fashion tends to be a bit brighter. Japanese fashion. Yeah, they got like the crazier, interesting stuff. What is that? I mean, that's a cool idea, but I feel like that would get really annoying, just carrying your jacket like that all day. Let's see what we got. What do we got? We want her to feel like she's modern, and then we're going to change the outfit to fit closer to the Shinto priestess color scheme. So that way she gives off this like subconscious feeling of being part of this like fantasy world. So what design do we go off of? Now see, normally on this, right? If you have like a team of artists, we would discuss with the artist what we're looking for, what we're going for, and then we would just do a bunch of different concepts of like different fashion design and narrow it down from there. What we like, what we don't like. But we don't have the time to do that. So I am trying to just find something to speed up the process by just basing it off of an outfit that already exists. This is cool. That's pretty cool. That's not bad. All right, we're gonna grab this. Just gonna throw that in there. It's a bit too, I think it's a bit too kimono-esque. However, it's a good start. I think this is a good start. We can kind of reduce how flowy the skirt is would probably be fine. But yeah, so we'll start with that. We'll get one more fashion shot of who this character is. I do also like the dark hair with the red outfit. Again, solid combination. Let's find something to do then. Traditional? Traditional might show us some color combinations that we didn't think about. Like something in here, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe yes. Maybe no. What do we got? Okay. So we're just gonna. Oh, well, that's a bit too weird, I think. Let's go with. Man, some interesting ideas in here. Not exactly what I was looking for. Because see, what I like about the reason why I keep bringing up Kitiko is because her design is simple. So it wouldn't distract from the rest of the characters in the story. Because Kitiko's design is just this this white kind of cloth top piece, and then this kind of, I think it's supposed to be, I don't really know what it is. It's like it's not like a cloth. It's closer to like almost like a plastic coated cloth, maybe. Something like that. So this is very simple. I mean, of course, she has this futuristic, because Overwatch, they had to add in some futuristic stuff in it. But it's very simple as far as the actual outfit itself. It's just a top, flowy bit, and then this belt. Just 3 pieces, and then she has a headband. So I don't know, something like that I think would be cool. But what do we do about that? Japanese fashion. Let's just leave it at that. Nothing. Well, let's go with women. Maybe narrow it down. So we've got some interesting ideas. There's a schoolgirl outfit. There's like a trench coat thing, whatever you call that. We want her to be poor, in like the poor part of town, but she's the main character, so we don't want her to look like bad. We still want her to be somewhat fashionable with whatever she has available. So what do we do about that? I keep asking questions like that, like what do we do? What if this works? Because that's pretty much my whole starting from scratch process, is just asking questions, seeing what works, throwing stuff at the board. If it doesn't work, take it off the board. And if you find out what doesn't work, you still didn't waste your time, because you found out that you can now point in the different direction, and that direction might point you to what actually does work. So, what about like a skater girl kind of thing? Maybe. I'm trying to think of like an urban thing to search that like doesn't have crazy fashion design. Urban's not bad, or a skater's not bad because it's really just shirt, pants, jacket, that combination. Um, I think that's not a bad idea. That's from Demon Slayer, of course. Why not? All right, I'm thinking shirt, pant, jacket. I think that's the way to go. I think that's where we're gonna go. So let's do shirt, pant, jacket with. I'm thinking color wise. If we actually design, or when we get to the actual character, it'd be like shirt, pant, jacket. Jacket may have like a patch on it with a fox spirit or like a kitsune on the patch, and then a red belt. It could be a modern belt, or it could be a rope belt that's been modernized into just holding pants up instead of doing the whole waist piece. So we're gonna write that down as a note, and then we're just gonna grab shirt, pant, jacket as a visual reference. So shirt, pant, jacket, shirt, pant, jacket. I saw it earlier. Where'd it go? Shirt, pant, jacket. Oh, there it is. Shirt, pant, jacket. Well, that's shorts. Man. Shirt, pant, jacket. Where's shirt, pant, jacket? I think it's because I typed in skater girl. Just do Japanese skater. Oh, it's figure skaters. Okay, fair enough. Skateboarder. Shirt, pant, jacket. Where's the shirt, pant, jacket? Do. It's probably shirt under that jacket, but I wanted to be the visual reference. Okay, so we're just gonna have to fake it, I think. Fake it till we make it. It's usually how we all roll anyways. Let's grab just something here. So I'm trying to think of character designs from like a video game or an anime or something that gives off yeah. You know what? Licorice Recoil. Licorice Recoil is a great anime. Huge fan. I could talk about it for a while. But the fashion design on some of the loading images is phenomenal. And they have this one that's like jacket, kind of like a street jacket, maybe Japanese puffy jacket. Japanese puffy jacket. Yeah, the puffy jacket. I don't know what you call it, but it's a puffy jacket. Shirt, pants, jacket, but I need an example that's not okay. This is not a bad. It's not a bad example, but it is not a great example. So we may just have to wing it with that one and just keep in mind what we're going for. Because again, this is not being presented to anybody but ourselves. So we don't have to worry about approval from anything, and we can, we know where we're going with it. So we'll just leave it at that. All right, so we're just going to grab this. Grab that. Shorts, pants, jacket. She's also got a scarf. You know, hey, whatever. All right. Let's throw that in there. All right, so now we have the we still don't have a name. Still don't have a name for her. Let's just organize this with a name. Character 1 is, what would be your name? What's her name? We need a name. Help me out, stream. Help me out. I've been doing this for an hour and 40 minutes. I need a name. What would be a good name? So she has a kitsune fox, and we want to do something narrative connected. So we can't just give her like Michelle. So let's do I don't know. Let's do something that's like, I don't know, attached to like the word fox maybe. Um, I would say Kitsu is a cool name, but then I think that's too close to Kitsune. I think that's too on the nose. But we could use that as a placeholder name in the meantime. Um, Man, what would be her name? Mikitsu? Yukiko? Yukiko's a cool one. I like Yukiko. You did put 6 names, Shorty Man. Didn't see that. Aizawa, Rina, Kato, Kumiho, Kuzinoha, and then Yukiko. I like Yukiko the closest because Kitsune has ki in it. So by doing Yukiko, we've now established a connection to the word kitsune without actually being close to the word kitsune. Yukiko. Koyuki? Yukiko. Kikoyu? Yukoki? Yukiko. Yeah, Yukiko. Kimi's a good one. I like Yukiko. It's got enough syllables to be interesting without it being like too much of a problem. Yukiko. Yeah, let's go with Yukiko. I like Yukiko. That's a good one. So Yukiko. We're gonna throw that in there. She is, let's give her a bit of a description, just for our own sake. That's underscore remove the bold, and we're doing, just to keep it the same. This is 16, so we need to do 16 size font. Right here. Okay, so 16. Okay. Instead of Jimi Hendrix, Kimmy. Yeah, it's a good idea. For the fashion design, maybe DIY retailered secondhand clothes to represent the social class status, the sentiment tie the character to the past. That's a great idea. That's a good one. Yeah, let's put that in her description. So first we've got Yukiko. She is I don't know, early 20s, and lives in the slums apartment, I guess. The slum apartments of the city. We could name the city if you want, but yeah, DIY. It makes it. I gotcha. So let's do. We're not gonna name the city, but we can name it if we wanted to. I'm just gonna. I don't think we need the name of the city at the moment, but the name of the character was important. So she's in the early 20s, lives in a slum apartments of the city. She Sashiko. Okay. I like where this is going. All right, so I'll definitely look. I'm gonna Google Sashiko in like 5 seconds. I just need one thing at a time for my brain. I gotta finish the description of her. All right, so she uses this Sashiko. Yeah, Sashiko as her fashion design, and then she visits her dead, I don't know, grandparent, maybe, but I'm thinking more somebody closer, like a parent. Let's go with we could do even closer, like a brother. Maybe like her brother died. So she named So she ends up naming the fox spirit after her brother. Okay. Yeah, of course, Samuel. Uh, Feel free to watch the rest of it. And like I said, we're going to be doing them every Saturday um, for give or take 3 hours. Depends on life. So, yeah, I'll see you in the next one for sure. Um, so let's just say she visits her dead brother and ends up naming the Kitsune spirit after him as a way to like keep his memory alive, kind of thing. Maybe. Okay, so Sashiko. Let's look this up. Sashiko. Sashiko. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have seen this. I know what you're talking about. Sashiko. Okay, so Sashiko jacket? Oh, interesting. So they actually make designs out of it instead of it just being patchwork. That's cool. I mean, there's this one that's a bit more patchworky, but interesting. There's another one. Okay, this is cool. It's very blue heavy. I wonder if that's like just the general design or if that is just whatever the fabric they normally use ends up being blue. Oh yeah, there's a good one. That's a good one for sure. Okay. Okay, yeah. So instead of this puffy classic Japanese, or not classic, but like Japanese modern puffy jacket, we could give her this mended jacket. Yeah, that's a good idea. And then we could even have, instead of a patch of a kitsune on it, we could have her maybe she's like threaded in some colored fabric that is in the design of a kitsune on her jacket. Maybe. Or actually no, because we want her to not match exactly to the fox. So we're gonna do probably like red cherry blossom leaves, kind of like sakura blossoms, entwined into her jacket. So then you have this this kind of neutral color jacket, like almost like this blue. We'll probably make it less deep blue, and then have like some red sakura like sleeves or something like the branches with the blossoms on them. That would be cool. I like that idea. So we're gonna do that. All right. So let's grab this image here, and let's throw that bad boy in here, just as an example for us to remember. Okay. So we've got where she lives, her age, her fashion design, and why she ends up there. Now we need some examples of her exactly. So I guess we'll go to modern. We need examples of her as a character, not just what she's wearing, but like her herself, her design. So let's go back to ArtStation. And let's type in Japanese character, maybe. Let's try that. So we've got some interesting ones for sure. Do 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 boo 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 do. what do we got? What do we got? She's not bad. I mean, of course it's, you know, anime style, but like the feeling of the characters with the black hair, that's not bad. We're gonna throw that in there just as an example. So, thank you, Javier Bolado. We are going to for sure check out the rest of your work, but at the moment, we're just going to look at this one for now. All right. So let's go back. We want her to be more, let's say, like independent. So she's not weak. She's not feeble. She's very confident. She's a bit of a rascal. She's definitely not like a criminal, but she does kind of just bend the rules sometimes and does whatever she wants to do. So we need to find people that are like a bit more urban. Ooh, this is cool. What is this? That's cool. I mean, it's a cat. It's not a fox, but it does look cool. Emily's got some good taste. So, Nah. I was thinking maybe she might transform, like let's say like to go to battle or something, and then she turns into like a kitsune version of herself. But I think we're adding an extra element there that's not necessary. This is more of a character story, less of a dramatic action superhero story, so we don't need to do that. What do we got? We need we need like some kind of modern Japanese or modern Chinese, just some kind of regular person. But of course, being art, everybody wants to exaggerate reality, which is the fun part, which is another challenge when it comes to finding references. I guess we could go back to Unsplash probably and type in. Oh, you know what? Here, we got some models here. We could use these. Maybe Japanese streetwear or Asian streetwear. Asian streetwear. We've got some interesting choices. A little bit too gangster, I think, in some areas. A little bit too suave in this one. We want her to just be like some regular girl, lady. So I like the skater girl idea because she's just like some regular 20-something-year-old that just lives in the city that gets around. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to wing it, and we'll just we'll go from this one to I don't know, something regular, I guess. Something regular. Is Google Asian streetwear? Let's just find somebody. Woman. That's not bad. A bit, I don't know, a bit too like bikerish. Looking for more just chill, regular girl, kind of like this. That's not bad. Maybe this. That's not bad either. Something like that. Of course, there's a lot of black, and she has 16-inch soles on her shoes, but something like that I think is fine. So let's go with that idea, I think. Yeah. All right, so let's go with this kind of urban beanie vibe to it. Of course, we're gonna make her jacket more the sashiko style. Let's throw her in there. So now we got a vibe of her. We're gonna throw that in there. I think we're good as far as she goes. Yeah. All right, so now let's get to the fox design. Um, let's go ahead and, again, this is why Word is not like the best software, but it is a good one to start with. But it's not the best because the formatting on it is garbage. So we're going to just copy and paste this and then change the wording on it. Kitsune Spirit. Yeah, I mean, like tomboy is a good way to put it, I think. But I think in reality, she's more of just urban. You know, she kind of just survives this environment, so she's kind of just does things her own way. I think that's kind of a cool way to put it. Kitsune Spirit. What do we got? We've got, of course, we got Kiriko, but let's do Ori the Blind Forest because it was mentioned earlier. I do like the vibe of this. You know what? God, I said it again. I said vibe again. I'm sorry. I keep saying it. Let's do. What's a good movie game that had spirits in it? Like I know Mulan. We'll grab those ghosts because that's a good example of the feeling that I want for this. Not these goofy ghosts, of course, but the ghosts coming out of the gravestones. Can I get it in more than 3 pixels, please? That'd be cool. That's fine. All right, so we'll grab this and we'll put it down here. Here we go. So now we've got Kitsune, and then we need to grab a fox. Oh yeah, Shortman sent these earlier of the Inario Kami, which reminds me of Okami the game. Never played it either, but it is gorgeous. I've been meaning to. Just need to get to it. It's just on my list of things to get to. This is cool. This is like the same idea that we're actually going for, where we have this woman with a spirit fox. So we're going to grab this. I like this red on the fox with the white. I actually found an image earlier of these, I don't know what you call them, like dolls or something like that. Whoops. Let's fix that. Of these dolls or something. I have them in my references over here. Let's pull them up over here. It is these little porcelain figurines. I'm assuming it's for the same thing as the image on the right, but I don't know for sure. But I like the color, of course, the white and red. We're going to make this kitsune transparent, like a spirit, with blue. However, we could implement the white and red into Yukiko. Yukiko? Yeah, that was her name? Yeah. Into her with some emphasis on this head design or eye design of the kitsune fox. So keep that in mind for sure. Let's go ahead and grab one more of this like traditional style illustration for the fox spirit. Yeah, there we go. That's a good one. So resolution on it is terrible, but I like the feeling of it. Okami's a bit too jacked. I think he's too like a ripped. we need like an elegant spirit, and I like this body size is fine. So we're gonna grab that, and then I have some references that I found of some foxes that we're gonna go ahead and throw in there. We're gonna throw this one in there because I like the composition of him looking that way. We'll probably use this image in our painting. This is from Unsplash, so we have the right to do so. And then I also grabbed this one as again from Unsplash as a good example of just like the body size, I guess, of the fox, like, or not the size because it's a small fox, but like the is the fox jacked or not? we want just like a regular fox body. I think it's fine. Then I did find this image. I thought this image was funny. So we now have this fox spirit we're talking about, and then I found this fox that looks like he just woke up. You know, his hair is all over the place. His eyes are barely open. I think that's really funny. We're not going to use him for anything. I just wanted to show you guys because I thought it was a goofy little guy. So we have the general fox examples from real life, and then we have some illustrations of him, and we have an example of like a glowy ghost version, but we don't have any examples of like a glowy fox. So I figured we could go on ArtStation and probably just type in mystical fox, and maybe something will come up. I'm not sure, but it looks like that's a no. So cool. So that means we're going to have to go to Google, and we're going to type in fox spirit, maybe. See what comes up. Scoop it up. Tibetan fox. Let's see, Tibetan fox. I spelled that completely wrong. Why? Why is this why does this fox look so just upset with everything? Why is this fox so grumpy? This is a grumpy fox. Oh, that's great. That's great. I'm gonna save that just for my own sake. I just really it's just a grumpy fox. Wow, what a great. Just gives her this face when they meet in the graveyard. Yeah. What a. It's like you told him a bad joke and he's just done with you. He's just done with hanging out with you. Okay. Anyways, Spirit Fox, probably not Tibetan version. What do we got? So we got Kitsune from Overwatch, of course. I like this design just a lot in general. It's a bit simplified, I think, so we don't want to simplify it too much like that, but it is neat, and it is a glowy fox, which is what we're trying to find examples of. So we're going to grab that with Sojourn next to him. Sojourn is an interesting character that I cannot play. I am just not great with Sojourn. I am a Tracer player all day. I mean, I do like tanks. I'm actually a big fan of Tracer, Diva, and then Kiriko, so I have each class covered. But my second tank is the hamster boy, because he's my dog, and it's hysterical to just beat people while playing as a tiny hamster in a big old ball. It's just really funny. So let's find some examples here. Spirit of the North, yeah. Shorty Man mentioned Spirit of the North. That's a good idea. So Spirit of the North, I never played it, but I do like this glowy Spirit Fox idea. So I'm going to grab that. I do like this as well. I want to get back to what I was just about to say. Let me put this in here. So I don't know if you guys remember, my favorite Disney movie of all time is Atlantis: The Lost Empire. People tend to forget about that movie all the time. It seems like even friggin' Disney has forgotten about that movie because they just have not done anything with it since like 2002. And it's okay. I'm not crying. You're crying. Because oh man, I love that movie. Gorgeous movie. But it has this like this glowy rune feel to it. Like this, where the rocks glow like runes with them that are carved in. And then of course glowy Kita is super cool with the waves as the rocks crash down on her around her. It's so sick. Love this movie. But I do like, if we go back to the Spirit of the North, this kind of rune into his fur like this. So we may implement that idea into the fox spirit. So you can kind of see it here. The spirit has this tiny little marking on him. We could probably do the same thing, but I think it may also be cool if instead of just markings all over the fox, we could do some glowing runes into the actual graveyard itself. So like maybe some of the graves have like this glowy rune to them the closer they are to the fox. So we could have like the gravestones and the tombstones that are near the fox kind of have this glowing blue, and then have it like disappear as it gets further away. So that way the spirit of the kitsune is like being enhanced by the graves, or is like being affected by the gravestones and stuff like that. I think that'd be cool. That just came to my mind, so I'm gonna write that down right now before I forget, because we will not be resuming this for another week. Possibly glowing runes in the gravestones / yard that glow brighter, I guess, with the kitsune proximity. Within would be a better way to put it. Within the kitsune proximity. Kitsune, this is a note for the kitsune itself. Kitsune in Japanese is fox. Alright, so let's do 16. Blah, blah. Alright, so the spirit watches, let's say the spirit watches over the graveyard, the graves, and has markings on the body. Let's just put that on one page. There we go. So spirit watches over the graves and has markings on the body. Let's say it affects the environment a little bit. How would it affect the environment? Besides the glowing tombstones, of course. We could have the fox give off a ethereal glow, like not just light, but like sparkly darklies, you know, like the I'm just doing this, like you should understand what I'm saying. The like almost like embers but glowing blue, so they're kind of just floaty spectral flakes in the air. Spectral flakes is what I'm going to go with, because I have no better way to explain that. Spectral flakes, it sounds like a terrible cereal. Emitting off the kitsune. That will give us some option to play with the wind, because then we could have, let's say, like with these auburn leaves and everything in the trees, we could have the leaves falling off, and then that would create some flowing color into the image. But then you would also have these spectral flakes flowing around as well, so you'd have like these glowing blue particles mixing in with some of the falling leaves. I think would be cool. Yeah, particles is a better word, but I'm keeping spectral flakes because of it just sounds hilarious. so I totally agree, particles is better, but we're going with spectral flakes because it's more fun to say. So So Kitsune's got spectral flakes. He's seen the doctor about it. And then we are going to have falling leaves. We should probably leave that as a note in the environment. Locations, graveyard. There we go. We've got falling leaves, and possible glowing cracks in the stones. We also want to include lit incense. I don't think they're all incense, but like the little Japanese sticks they light and it smokes on shrines. So let's just say lit incense at shrines. Kitsune shrine for sure. We definitely want to include a Kitsune shrine in the shot, because that would be the people praying to the Kitsune to watch over all of the dead bodies, all the dead people there. We want to make it fall leaves with green undergrowth. We want a little bit of green underneath, and then we want like the tree leaves to be, orangish red and stuff like that, so then they fall down. What do we... I think that's it for the graveyard, right? Leaves. Oh, overgrown. Overgrown and not maintained well. Or no, overgrown and old, I think is better. And old. If we do not maintain well, it's obviously not maintained if it's overgrown. So that's the graveyard notes. For the city notes, we've got... let's just do like that. For the city notes, they live... bustling city with greenery infused into the architecture. High-rise slums are densely packed together, kind of like Judge Dredd kind of thing. Are densely packed together. Streets are, let's say, generally maintained, but not in these slums. Okay. So we have a general idea of the city. Now we can go to the character, which we have a note for Yukiko. I like that name a lot. The more I say it, the more I like it. That's a good call. That's a good one. So Kitsune, spirit watches over the graves, markings on the body, spectral flakes. Yukiko names the spirit after her... No, I already wrote that in the Yukiko note. We don't need that. What else? What else is there with the glowy fox boy? He's emitting light. He's got that. Oh, he's big. I haven't mentioned how big he is. He is probably like, I don't know, like, how do you measure a fox height? Because their back, do you measure from the bottom of their foot to their back? Because their head can go higher up, or do you measure from the bottom of their foot to the top of that? I don't know. That's a great question. I'm gonna say from foot to back. This sounds like a question for, where did I put him there? I'm getting over being sick, so excuse me while I pop a Hall's cough drop real quick. But it sounds like a question of like, if a dog would wear pants, how would they wear it? Would they wear it down by their feet, or would they wear it down by their waist? How do you measure the height of a fox? All right, so we're just gonna ignore that. We're gonna go from bottom of foot to the back of the fox. He's about 20 feet. 20 feet tall. From head to tail, probably twice that. So let's say like, don't know, 35 feet long, give or take. Yeah, head to tail. Head to tail, I'm thinking 35 feet, give or take. But like, how do you measure a height? Like the the height of a fox? I guess yeah. I don't. You know what? I'm gonna Google it. Let's just Google it. Let's figure it out. How do you how do you measure the height of a? Oh, I guess dog would also work. So how do you measure the height of a dog? The measurement from the floor to your dog's shoulder blades. Aha. Mm-hmm. So it is the back. All right. All right. We've learned something today. You've came here for art advice, and you've learned how to measure a dog. we know we listen. That's the way it ends up. That's the way it always ends up. All right. So yeah, let's say foot to back, somewhere around 20 feet. 35 feet long, big boy. In the scene, we're probably not going to show his whole body, but we're just going to imply that he's huge. So, okay, so that's Kitsune. We got Yukiko. We have the only thing left to do, because we got to start wrapping up here soon, is the fantasy element. So, this is an interesting part of the design, where if you have a sci-fi project or a fantasy project or a historical project or whatever, you have to give examples. You don't have to. I do. I give examples of like, what do I expect the different fantasy elements to feel like before I've even designed anything at all. So if you say like historical document, and you're like, hey, I'm making a I don't know, a movie that's based in like the 1840s, you could put historical elements and then show like real images of, 1840s artifacts. Artifacts seems like an old term for 1840s. 1840s like items that are been documented or something like that, as an example of like how people lived in that time. So with the fantasy one, I need to show examples of how the fantasy elements feel, regardless of what we've actually designed. So what I was thinking this whole time, and you can kind of get the vibe already from the pictures I've used, is I want this fantasy element to feel mystical and flowy. I want it to feel like magic wind. You know what I mean? Like it's just like this wind that's kind of flowing through the mystical elements, right? So let's find some examples of that that I like, and it could be from anything. It's just something to give like the feeling. And because we mentioned it earlier, I'm going to bring it back up, because maybe Disney will eventually freaking pick this movie back up and do something else with it. Because, I mean, honestly, Disney, like, you don't have to make a number 3. All right, number 2 was not nearly as great as number 1. But could we just get like a 4K remaster or something? Because you can't even buy the movie other than DVD. Can't even buy it on Blu-ray, as far as I know. Can we get like I don't know, like a remake? If you do the remake well, can we get a remake? I don't know. I just want this movie to come back. So mystical elements. This is a good one. So we're gonna grab that for sure. Actually, this is a better one. It's fan art, but it gives a good example. So we're gonna grab this of the mystical elements being glowy blue. That's what we want. They are flowy. Okay, let's see if we got some more here. I'm trying to think in my head of different scenes in the movie that may be more flowy mystical elements, and really that one with her on the lake is like the only one I can think of. We could do this as well, because that would be closer to like the tombstones that are glowing. Let's add that there. Okay, So then we've got to go somewhere else. Let's do Ori and the Blind Forest, because that was a great example that was mentioned earlier. And we can just find some magic elements that we like this. This is cool. Just something to give us a general example of the glowy blue spectral flakes that we want. All right, yeah, so let's go with this one. Let's grab that. There we go. So then, let's put it. Yeah, it's close enough. All right. So let's go with Kana as well, because we started with that one, not Keanu. Nope, Kana. There we go. And this game had a ton of cool, flowy elements to it. So if we could find an image of that, that would be cool. Like just the arrow itself was very flowy. I don't know if you guys ever played this game, but it's a phenomenal game. Ah, this is a good one. That's a good example with the floaty bits. All right. Really good game. Super fun. I'm a big fan of like games that let you explore that aren't like too big. You know, Assassin's Creed Valhalla had that problem where it was, what's the term? Wide as an ocean but deep as a pond or something like that. 1 mile wide and 2 inches deep, because there's a ton of places to go to in Valhalla, but like there's not like a whole lot of different things to do. So you start getting repetitive, bored fast because you're just redoing the same things over and over. Whereas in Kana, it's a smaller game, it's shorter, and by the time it starts feeling like you're getting bored of doing whatever the things are to do, you're almost at the end of the game. So like you're already finishing the game at that point. So there's never like this problem that Valhalla had where there's too much to do and you get bored before you finish, kind of thing. This is a great example of the graveyard, actually. If I could get see this vertical tombstone feeling with the shrine in the middle like that? That I like. So we're going to add that to their graveyard. That was not something I was looking for, but it's a good idea. So we're going to put it there. Here. All right. Here we go. So back to the fantasy elements. That's not bad, but I think it's just too hard to tell exactly what's going on. So let's go to ArtStation and see what we got. Let's just type in mystical forest. See what comes up. Oh look, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's like they knew we were talking about them. Now there's no like right or wrong amount of images to use. I will say the best way to handle finding images is the less images you can use to make a point, the better, because people that look through your document or pitch to don't want to look at like 4,000 images just because you're like, oh well, this one has this one thing that I like that's part of the feeling of the document. So it's better to have like less, but because this is our project and we're just working personally, and this may be your first project that you've ever started from scratch like this, you're welcome to like just put as many images as you want. At the end of the streams though, whenever we do the review and I'm looking at some of the streams or some of the projects, just for the sake of time, try not to put too many images in there, just so if I look through your project on live stream, I don't have to sit there scrolling through like 40 images to get to the next text. But But it is always fun to do this because then you can find a ton of images that you're like, oh, this is cool. This is a cool idea. I want this. But you got to learn to edit yourself. I think editing yourself is a very important aspect of design in general, especially if you don't have somebody editing you, like your boss or your client or something like that. You need to understand that you can have 1,000 things in your project, but you really need to narrow it down to like just a few important things, and then the project can grow from there. If you're like, for example, if you're starting a video game, if you're making your own video game, you don't want to be like, all right, I'm going to make the next Skyrim. It's like, okay, I mean, you could, but that's going to be such a huge budget and so many assets need to be created and so many people that need to test the game and work on it and figure it out that you're really biting off a lot at one time. Where in reality, you could just start with something small and then work your way up from there. A good example of that is, I'm not seeing anything, so I'm going to look up a different term. A good example of that is the Saw movie by James Wan. Saw is, this is cool, from League of Legends. I never played League of Legends, but this is sick. I like this a lot. This is cool. This is cool. I'm probably going to butcher this, but is it Cheng Wei? Cheng Wei? This is really cool. So I'm going to borrow this. From the Saw movies, right? The horror movie. Don't know if you guys are huge fans of horror movies or not, but the first Saw movie was actually made as a college project. James Wan just made it in college. I think it was only like 30 minutes long or something like that. And then it got such a huge liking from whoever saw it, producers or pitch or whatever, that they funded it to make it turn into a full film. And then they made the first Saw movie, which then exploded into the next Saw movies. And then he went from that into like the Conjuring series, Insidious, and a bunch of really cool, I'm a huge horror movie guy. So like a bunch of really cool horror movies and stuff like that. So in general, when you're making a project from scratch, don't just focus on like the biggest project you can possibly think of. Be like, this is going to change the world. So like, no, limit yourself a bit, just for your own sake of budget and then also time and skill. Because even with this project, right? If somebody walked up to you and they're like, hey, listen, I need you to make an entire project from scratch that you come up with right now, and I need the whole thing done. Like, you're gonna freak out. Like, I would freak out. I'd be like, I don't even know you. Who are you? Why are you in my house? You know, that kind of thing. But the fact that we're breaking this up over 6 weeks means that you can work on it piece by piece. You know, so instead of doing the whole project at one time, you can start from the beginning and work on small projects that ends up becoming one big project at the end. And I think when it comes to designing or any kind of problems in life, really, it's better to, instead of approaching the entire problem at one time, break it up into smaller problems that you can take out a little at a time. Now, of course, if you're working for a company and they're like, we have until Friday to get this done, use that as your guideline, right? So I have a deadline of 6 weeks. I have 6 weeks to finish these streams, okay? Of course, I'm going to only do every Saturday, so I'm limited on how much time I can actually spend on them. But I have 6 weeks, so I broke it up into 6 weeks of things to do, you know? So that way, by the end of the 6 weeks, it's all done. And I didn't have to like force myself to do a ton in one day. And I didn't have to, and I didn't do too little in one day that the project never got done. So I think in general, when it comes to this project or in life, just, you know, chill a bit. Like, I understand this is a very stressful industry to be in. Trust me, I know. I have gray hairs all over. So it's just, there's like a lot of things you can do to kind of relax yourself. Listen to music, but then also when it comes to any kind of problem, because that's what we are, as problem solvers. We have problems thrown at us. We have to figure out how to solve it. Just like take a step back, let any kind of the panic, anxiety of the idea of the whole thing disappear, and then just break it down into portions. If you have a deadline of 5 days, break it down into 5 different parts. If you have a deadline of a month, you could break it down into 30 different parts, but in general, I usually break it down weekly. So if it's a month, I break it down into 4 weeks, and then I approach the problem week at a time, depending on the meetings that are needed. I have like weekly goals, right? Now, as an art director, what I normally do is I have a quarterly goal. So I have 3 months goal, and then I have a monthly goal, and then I break that down into weekly goals. So as I'm working with people and art teams and everything like that, we are keeping these deadlines, but I'm also planning ahead of time to make sure that we have some wiggle room in case somebody has like medical problems, or I don't know, somebody's computer decides to explode out of nowhere because they plugged in the wrong power supply or something. So it's you gotta plan by breaking things up, but then also give yourself a little bit of wiggle room in there to where, like, granted you could finish it early, but you're giving yourself extra time in that plan in case something happens. So that way you still can finish it in time, but you gave yourself that extra little wiggle room in there, so you're not like stressed out if your car pops a tire and you can't make it into the office that day or something like that. So that's just a general piece of advice from a guy that has been doing this for like 11 years and has freaked out before in the past about deadlines. So back to the fantasy elements. I like this piece a lot. This is cool. From Bastian Gravet, as art director at Warden Light Studio. I'm not sure what they make, but this is really cool. Especially made in Procreate like that. That's cool. I don't use Procreate, but I have seen some really cool stuff with it. So that's cool. So we're going to grab this just because I like this glowy blue mysticism to it, So we're going to throw that in there with the fantasy elements. Again, this is just examples of fantasy elements. Nothing too serious, nothing too specific, just something that gives off the vibe that we're looking for. This is really cool. I like this. This glowing deer. That's really cool. So Dominique Mayer. Yeah, I'm going to borrow this. This is cool. The desaturated feeling of the piece is a bit depressing, I think, which is fine. It makes the piece good. A lot of my pieces are dark. If you go on my art station, my newest piece is like a dark noir scene. But I do like this glowy blue contrast. That's what I'm looking for with the forest, Now, speaking of the forest, we do need in the fantasy elements examples of the forest. So this is pretty good. I like this. Probably not that. That's just like random forest stuff. But this is cool. It has the vertical gravestones that we're looking for, and it has that diagonal composition I was talking about. So they're using these three spheres right here as a diagonal guideline for your eye. So you're going like diagonally across the page. However, the staircase is also going diagonally down from the left to the right. I was thinking of doing the reverse, where the staircase goes from the right to the left, and then having this centered shot with the fox head in the middle and then the girl sitting in front of him or standing in front of him. So I like this. We're going to take this. We're just going to... Thank you, David Norin. Appreciate it. Really cool stuff. Just going to grab that. Skip it up. There we go. And then we do need to find something with like the fall colors of the mysticism that we're looking for. So we may just search like fall forest, maybe. That might be a better idea to do instead of just spirit. So I just typed in spirit to see what came up. I do like this though. This is a good example of the idea. See, yeah, because even the bird's got markings on them. This kind of idea for the fox, I think, would be cool. All right, we're gonna grab this just as an example. Thank you, Calder Moore. This is really cool. We're gonna grab that and put that in there. And then we need to find this fall forest. So we're going to do that. So let's type in fall forest, see what we got. Problem is they're going realistic with it. Oh, this is cool. I like that. That's really nice color-wise. This is real nice. I'm gonna borrow this. Thank you. Pau Mauve. I apologize. I am not great with foreign names. Well, I say foreign. Anything not English tends to. Anything not English, not Japanese. Japanese I've been learning for a while, so that one I can manage. But anything else, I'm sorry. I apologize. Let's find one more fall piece. Something just to give an example of the mood and the feeling of this forest. That's what we're looking for. But where would it be? This is not bad. That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad. Let's grab that. All right. Thank you, James Standish. We are going to use that as an example for some of the orange-red tones. I think it's still a bit too red in the image, but it's a good idea. Like a good example of like the lighting being soft. Same here. I wanted this soft lighting that kind of bounces through the leaves, and then you have the canopy lighting reflecting through the trees in the back. I think that'd be cool. Or not reflecting, but peeking through. So let's do a progress report. All right. We've been at this for what? 2 hours, 40 minutes or so. So we've created the narrative. All right. Who the woman is. Let's give her a name. Yukiko. She meets the Kitsune spirit. All right. She lives in a modern city resembling dense Chinese or Japanese city. She meets the spirit in a forest graveyard. She visits there to find plants for her window garden, and we changed it to brothers. So let's say possibly visits. Actually, not possibly. Let's just leave it at that. I like the brother idea. So, and she visits her dead brother, who she names the spirit after. This right here, the design elements, this entire section is unnecessary when you pitch this to people or when you show this to anybody. This is specifically just for me to like remember, like a checklist. Like, all right, first I need to figure this out. Second, I need to figure that out, and stuff like that. This is completely unnecessary in the document. So now that we've actually got everything categorized and figured out, we can just remove that section. Don't worry about that. So design elements, we have the color harmonies and everything here. As far as like the document being spaced out weird, like the fact that there's a huge gap right here and then the images here, I'm not worried about that at the moment. I am going to hit that as like a polish phase on stream 5. Stream 6 is the feedback. Stream 5 is where we come back and we polish everything. So any image polishing that we need to do, like refining or review on like the images that we created along the way. But we also need to polish up the art Bible itself, make it look less janky like that. But we can do that later. So we have the color harmonies and lighting, right? We have this, which looks great. This gives off a vibe of what we're going for, just in general. I said vibe again. I know. So this is just a general feeling of everything before we even go into anything else. And then we have the location, the graveyard. We have some visual examples. Different examples of like real life shots, but then also with some illustrated examples. And then we have the city. So we have the bustling city with the description of it. And then we have the examples. There's a huge gap here, which is unnecessary, like completely unnecessary. Uh, yeah, there. I don't know why that gap was there. So we have the city examples. This is just a general vibe now because we've changed it. I said it again. This is just a general example of where she could live, but we've changed it to the apartments and the slums. So this will be more of just a city example. This is more of like the entire metropolis, showing like the bigger cities, the verticality, how everything's a bit more futuristic, not completely down to earth, but also still relatable. And then we have some examples of like the underpass and just like some of the city slum feeling to it, including that example, which I think is a great example. Then we have the characters. So now we have, let me stop it. Let me push that. There we go. Now we have Yukiko. She is the main protagonist. So I'm going to put main protagonist here. Just protagonist. There we go. She is early 20s, lives in the slums. She uses sashiko as her fashion design. So all of her clothes are like makeshift and patched up. And then she visits her brother and ends up naming the spirit after him because she misses him a lot, and we can use that as a way to like have the brother come back to her by using the fox. So this general vibe of her would be the tiny little details on her fabric and everything. We're going to throw that into her stitching of the jacket, and then her herself is more of like a chill, regular, just like street wear kind of woman, and then this would be more of the coloring that we want to throw in. So we want her to wear like this kind of streetwear stuff, but we want her to have some red and then some white mixed in to give her this feeling of like a Shinto priestess, and also to add red that makes her stand out as like the main character. So we also have this general design, some fashion design, and then the Kitsune spirit, glowy boy. She's like his friend, partner, whatever. He's very flowy. We want him to be very flowy, very wind feeling. And some general examples of some general examples of glowy boy with some spectral flakes. And then we have the final fantasy, and then we have the final category, the fantasy of just general elements of fantasy, color examples, flowiness, the just the general almost said it again, the general feeling of the fantasy elements in our piece, including the weather element of the environment. So that was all done in about 2 hours and 40 minutes. We have now created a direction for us to go in. Originally, I had none of that. When we started this stream, we had none of this established. We had no narrative. We had nothing. I had the idea of a girl meets a spirit fox in a forest graveyard and nothing else. Oh, and she lives in a city. That was nothing else. So this was just starting from scratch. This is a very fun process. And now you guys can do the same thing. You guys have all week to do it before the next stream, which is, again, Saturday. The next stream will be us actually tackling the first key art. So the first key art piece I was going to do was of her meeting the fox in the graveyard. So like this is going to be the main selling point of the project. This will be like the piece that if you see it, you immediately get the feeling of the entire project and what you're trying to convey. So it has a lot of, pressure of being like important, but this is our project, so we can we'll be the judge of like if it works or not. So next stream will be closer to like the old streams where I'm just going to make that piece and we're going to talk about it, how the process goes, and I'll show you everything. And then you guys can follow along and make your piece or whatever after that. So thank you all for joining. This is a lot of fun for me. Just hanging out, just chilling, making some cool stuff. So thank you for joining. If you guys have any questions, just this stream or the next streams or any streams, feel free to just ask them as you want. And we'll just stumble across some cool stuff together. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. We can go ahead and I believe we'll just, file save, end it there. Everything's good. So, yeah. So I will see you guys. I'll see you guys next week. So, take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.